You're thinking about buying land here in East Tennessee. What are some things that you need to know up front? Number one, not all agents know how to show and sell land. That's probably been the biggest thing I've learned in my real estate career. I started out with a company that specialized in selling rural properties. And they taught me so much about going out and showing land and even listing and selling land. So make sure that the agent that you're choosing to work with has experience in working with land deals. You should be able to go on to Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com. It will show you what they have sold recently. And if there's only houses or condos in there, you might want to look at some other agents who do have experience selling land. The second thing is you need to understand what the zoning for that property is. A lot of times you're going to see property advertised as being unrestricted, which means there's no deed restrictions on that property. It's typically not in a subdivision. As far as the deed's concerned, you can put whatever you want to on that land. But certain counties have implemented zoning restrictions now, which would prohibit you being able to live in an RV or camper while you build your home. It would prohibit you from living in a camper all the time. It may prohibit you from being able to put a tiny home on that piece of property. So even though it's advertised as unrestricted, you need to check the zoning. You need to work with your agent to find out what the zoning guidelines are for that particular piece of property. Third thing is you need to understand the cost of installing utilities for that property. If you're looking for rural land here in East Tennessee, you're probably going to have to put in a well, and you're going to have to put in a septic, and you're going to have to pay to get the power run from the road to wherever your house site is. And when I started selling real estate 12 years ago, we could tell people 12 to 15,000 for the well and septic, you should be good. Now we are having to tell people it's going to be between 20 and 25,000 for the well and the septic. So those costs have increased significantly. So I had a piece of property listed up in Claiborne County. It was listed for like $12,000. It was about an acre and a half. Got tons of calls on it because people couldn't believe that this piece of property that was over an acre was listed for only $12,000. But when we would break it down for them and say, yeah, the property itself is $12,000, but you're going to have to put a well, you're going to have to put a septic, you're going to have to do this, this, and this. When all that is done, the actual cost of the land does increase quite a bit. Fourth thing is understanding the cost of grade work. So going back to my previous example, you're going to have to put a driveway in on that property. You may have to level out some of the property so that you have a good home site. People don't understand that that cost is going to be added to your home building price if your contractor does that, or if you're wanting to do a lot of the site work yourself, you're going to have to rent the equipment, you're going to have to get insurance on it, you're going to have to figure out the best way to do it. But it is a cost that you need to take into account. The last thing is environmental conditions and restrictions. Are you in a floodplain? Are you going to be required to carry flood insurance once your home is built? Is part of the property on TVA land? Where is that TVA line on your lakefront property? You need to be aware of all those things before you put an offer in and before you get under contract on a piece of lakefront property. If you have questions about buying land and you want an agent who has experience, who's been through this process numerous times, feel free to send me a DM and let's talk and help you buy a piece of East Tennessee.